The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.
Did you just, I think it's some sort of announcement today with you're partnering with a company or doing something with GoSun. Can you explain that?
Yeah, dude, what a huge announcement for us. And I don't know that the market's fully digested what this means, but so part of the reason we acquired Ronin Blockchain, which is the cryptocurrency mining company, we acquired that on January 16th. And part of the reason for it was their strategic relationship they have with GoSun. GoSun's a publicly traded company on the Shenzhen Exchange. They have over 90 data centers across China. They host for Alibaba, Tencent, China Telecom, like they're tier 1, tier 2 data centers. And one of the early investors and founders of Ronin is the chairman of GoSun. And so through that relationship, Ronin has the right, and that's what today's announcement was, the definitive agreement for that, where we have the right to use up to 100 megawatts of space and power in their tier 1 data centers, starting off in Inner Mongolia. So we're outside of China, we're in Mongolia. We've got immediate access to 10 megawatts, and which is about 5,000 rigs, and then we can go up to 100. Which gets us to 50,000 rigs. Now, obviously, we have to finance that, and we're looking at some options. But the reality is, other companies in other jurisdictions to have access to that type of capacity will have to spend, 18 to 24 months and $30 to $40 million building new data centers and pulling power into it. We have the ability to use the existing infrastructure and go right into it. So we're very excited. I don't know that the market's fully digested it. We have to do a better job explaining how big this looks and the opportunity that it presents, but absolutely tremendous. And Darcy Taylor, who's our president of Ronin, he's done a phenomenal job with the team, and GoSun as well, working hard because of the time zones to get it done. And yeah, we're really excited, man.
Congratulations. What's Ronin's website again, Jeff, for people to find out more information on Ronin Blockchain?
RoninBlockchain.com.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So,
RoninBlockchain.com.
We're updating our websites, and we'll have access to all of the subsidiary companies from the landing page at Datametrex as well. So we're working on that.
It's so interesting because obviously we work together, and I've gotten to know you as just a buddy, and I've been very honest with people. I'm invested in Datametrex as well, and the amount of acquisitions and movement that your company does. How do you sleep at night? Like, what's next? You buying Canada? I mean, you're doing everything.
Well, no, thanks, buddy. Like, listen, we're able to do it because, at the corporate level, myself, Andrew Yu, who's the CEO and chairman, and the architect behind everything, and Michael Frank, who works closely with us as our chief strategy officer, we're able to do this because we're acquiring management and operating teams who are running their businesses. So we're not the actual operators. We're able to identify great teams, great businesses, and what we think are, early and exciting life cycles of technologies. And, as we've talked about in the past, but maybe for some of your new listeners, we've got our big data collection, and we're working on closing the deal with ShopTalk, which further strengthens that, gets us into the U.S. and the independent pharmacies. We've got artificial intelligence and machine learning with Nexology, contracts with the Canadian federal government. We just announced this week that we're opening a new division for Nexology, which is investor relations and targeted ads, and working on that. On the back of that press release, we had 10 inbound email inquiries and phone calls about how can we work with you guys. So there's a lot of opportunity for that. We've got a Graph blockchain. We had an announcement on that where we just received a $400,000 contract for the prototype for electric vehicle charging stations. And, that is to turn it from prototype to multi-year, big contract. I'm not going to give guidance on the number, but it's a multi-year contract, and it'll be, a multiple of that of prototype. So we're very excited about where things are going. Ronin's the latest acquisition, and quite frankly, it's the potential to be a beast. Like, we didn't put guidance in that press release on revenues, but if you do the math, and typically speaking, a 100 megawatt facility, given current hash prices and electricity prices, you're looking at $200 to $220 million in revenue. That's a massive, massive opportunity. So, we just have to figure out how to move it forward, how to fund it, so that it's not, it's not diluted to Datametrex, but still provides all that upside potential. And we're working on that with our lawyers. and some investment bankers on how to do that properly.
You know what I always love about these interviews, and Cowan Shergold's listening, is you know, it's a lingo that it's so interesting to learn, because there's so much of this type of talk going on in the world. Because you're right, it's the future is here, the future is now, and you're a company obviously that is involved in sort of, you know, whether it's AI, whether it's you know, crypto mining, whether it's blockchain. All, like, you know, prototypes for electric charging stations, like all these types of stuff. This is happening now, even though we sometimes forget that. And to watch what you're doing and to talk to you every week, it makes me think I should be a BNN anchor.
Well, hey, Todd, to further that along, you know, when we started, we talked about LOIs being letter of intent, sort of that first phase where you sort of dance with someone.
Yeah.
The signing our definitive agreement is that sort of final phase of your LOI. So we've gone from LOI to definitive, where we now have that contract in hand. So just, you know, to follow up and close a loop on those definitions.
And what I like about this too is, again, and I'm always the layman, but I learn with people, is that, you know, you mentioned earlier, it's like you have facilities to mine, and it's not speculative now. It's not like, hey, we will build something or go and buy something one day and you have places now, and this crypto mining's not going anywhere. And I can't wait for Polycon 18 with you, because we're going to be in the Bahamas, and that's a separate thing. I'm so involved in the crypto side of the world that they've invited me to do some hosting and moderating and ICO judging and stuff like this. And you're going to be out there with Datametrex, and we're going to speak to the top minds there. And this really isn't going away, is it? The whole cryptocurrency thing, even though some people are fearful.
No, absolutely not. The train's left the station. I think what we have now and what is expected is how countries regulate this, how they treat it, so that it's not happening outside of the economic benefit of a country. And that's, you know, to take it back to China, that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to get rid of the wildcatters, trying to get rid of the people doing it illegally off the grid, and bring it in so that it's regulated, they're taxed, and they're able to, you know, have an economic benefit from it. You know, we talked about it in the past, but China's got blockchain in their 15-year plan. There's no way that China's going to sit back and watch Japan be the leader in crypto mining. You know, China wants to be the leader in the world on everything. So, you know, we're very confident from what GoSun tells us, what they're talking about with the officials in Beijing, and from what we see with other miners. They talk about moving, and sure, they are looking at other options, but nobody's leaving China. People are talking about expanding into other geographies, like we have done. We signed an agreement in Quebec, and we're going to build upon that so that we've got some diversification. But no, I think, you know, the opportunity is as things get regulated, people who are doing things properly, who are public companies, who are doing it in data centers and doing it properly, will benefit from the regulation. So I think we're positioned really well. The more I get to know, you know, you and Andrew, you're kind of like the Lou Lamoriello and Brendan Shanahan of the Leafs. Like, you're just putting together the perfect team. Well, listen, Andrew's a real pleasure to work with. You know, he's very aggressive, and he and I work well together. Putting sort of his aggressive timelines with my sort of more moderate, conservative timelines, and coming up with things that work. And I think we've done a lot, you know, since going public in 2017. You know, I joked with you, but the associate of the law firm we work with said that we did more in the month of January than most of their clients will do all year. So, you know, our goal is the window's open. We want to build a big company. Obviously, we're chasing revenues. We're building companies, and you know, I think the sum of the parts are worth far more than the whole at this stage. And, you know, my job is to go to conferences like Polycon 18 with you, and to go and do marketing events and meet with people to get the story out and make sure that people understand the value that's locked up in Datametrex right now. Well, I look forward to spending some time with you in Bahamas, and obviously learning more as you guys keep moving on with Datametrex.com and all the information there. You'll see, you know, whether it's RonanBlockchain.com, Nexology.com, which is a company that I really specifically think can clearly help a lot of our listeners, a lot of like small businesses as well, really understand who their immediate clients are and what are they saying about them on social, what are they not saying about them. Like, that's also a company that I think people should really go out and check out, Nexology.com. And Claude Thierry is just a wonderful dude who we've gotten to know over there through you, Jeff. And Cowan's sitting here, Cowan Shergold, who's a real bright young comic and actor and rapper. Do you have any questions? Because you've been part of this conversation before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you,
Cowan?
Yeah. Are you?
Can you wrap your question to me, though?
Can I wrap my question to you? Okay. I'm about to go crypto, chasing the revenue. Anywhere it goes, that's where I'ma follow you. But are you really building a Death Star? That's what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like we have taken over the galaxy and we are assembling the ultimate weapon in the universe.
Actually, you should be our IRP, our front man.
White wine is available for business. You know, I'm just about chasing that revenue, you know? Give me some of that crypto, baby.
Hey, I'm starting to hear more of that, Jeff. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. I'm starting to hear more of that where more and more you're hearing people are paying in crypto, accepting crypto. And this is also what legitimizes it for me. Are you hearing more of those stories as well?
Oh, for sure. And well, you know, you're talking to people about different initial coin offerings that are coming out. And I think, you know, that Main Street is starting to adopt the technology. Our Graph blockchain division has got a lot happening. We're talking to a lot of people about how we can create solutions for them. They recognize the benefit of it. They're trying to understand how to integrate it into their existing platforms and work with their existing enterprise solutions. So I think it's becoming a lot more mainstream. And it's going to move into, you know, once you see it move into the larger companies, that's when that mass adoption comes. As we said in the past, Todd, I don't know which currency is going to be the winner. There's a tremendous amount of them out there right now. Our goal and our business plan is to mine the currencies that require the least amount of hash and have the most profit in it using our artificial intelligence and sediment solutions, both on Nexology side and also what Ronin brings to the table through their own solutions. And then once we've mined them, to sell them and to trade them. So, you know, I think there's huge opportunity as this industry matures, and you know, I think we're early stage, and it's very exciting.
It is very exciting. I'll tell you one thing people are keeping a close eye on is what currency that Amazon might use one day. That's sort of like a big. Any ins on that, Jeff?
If I did, I'd have it loaded up and I wouldn't tell anyone.
Well, listen, thanks for calling in, and you know how committed of a follower you are, as well as a very hardworking businessman, and it's part of the reason why I admire you. And thank you so much for giving us your time. Thanks for hanging out with what your boy's name again? I forget. Sorry. Andrew, great job on running the company with your father. No, I know it's a different Andrew. And cheers, congrats on finishing fifth today. And Jeff, we can't wait for you to drop by in the program live again one day too.
Safe trip back from Pyeongchang.
Didn't know you could drive back.
Have a great rest of the show.
Thanks, Jeff Stevens from Datametrex.com. Make sure you go there and check out all the information.
The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.